two countries are rooted in the biblical heritage.
But we have a bond to Israel that's much stronger. It's a moral commitment.
It was created to fulfill the long-standing dream of the Jewish people to return to the home of their biblical origins.
Come, let us declare in Zion the word of God. The founders of my country saw a new promised land.
America's commitment to Israel's security is rock solid and unwavering.
Jerusalem will be the capital of Israel, and I have said that before, and I will say it again.
I recognized Jerusalem as the capital of Israel.
You need not be a Jew to be a Zionist. I am a Zionist.
America's relationship with Israel is as old as the foundation of the state in 1948. No political movements, no global developments, and no foreign governments or individuals have been able to derail Washington's ironclad support for Israel. But why is this the case?
Let me explain something about what is called the Jewish lobby in this country.
First of all, the foundation of this very stable and committed relationship is primarily based on the beliefs of evangelical Christians, who are well organized and well represented in American economics and politics.
We stand with Israel!
They believe that a Jewish state must be established on the Promised Land in order to ensure the second coming of Jesus Christ in accordance with one of the altered versions of the Bible. The special relationship between the US and the soon-to-be state of Israel became official in 1918, when then US President Woodrow Wilson announced his support for Britain's Balfour Declaration, which led to the creation of a Jewish state in the land of Palestine. May 1948, just 11 minutes after the declaration of the foundation of the State of Israel, the US became the first state to recognize Israel. The ideals of Zionism have been supported by United States presidents and members of Congress from both parties over the past half-century.
We have to bring in a considerable immigration into a small country.
Allyship with Israel is not a partisan issue for Americans. It is a national obligation. Kennedy approved the sale of Hawk missile systems to Israel after being elected president in 1960. And that support contributed to Israel's victory against the Soviet-backed Arab states in the Six-Day War of 1967. In 1973, US President Richard Nixon favored Israel in the Fourth Arab-Israeli War, even at the cost of an embargo on the US and the West by oil-producing Arab countries.
Being for Israel first, that does not mean you're putting America second, because they think it goes together.
Carter's advocating for full autonomy for Palestine at the Camp David talks caused the Israel lobby to withdraw its support of Carter, and that might have cost him his presidency.
In itself, it was a great achievement. But the president took a great risk for himself.
AIPAC is not dedicated to peace. They're dedicated to inducing the maximum support in America, in the White House, in the Congress, and in the public media.
Ronald Reagan, who was elected after Carter with the support of the Jewish lobby, signed a free trade agreement with Tel Aviv and granted Israel the status as a major non-NATO ally of the United States. The US continued to mediate Israel's negotiations with Palestine in 1993 and 1995, which resulted in the Oslo Agreements during Bill Clinton's presidency. Immediately following the Oslo Agreements, US Congress passed legislation recognizing Jerusalem as the capital of Israel and calling for Jerusalem to remain an indivisible city.
The alliance between our governments is unbreakable. Yet the source of our friendship runs deeper than any treaty.
In 2003, amid the second Intifada, the US gave Israel $9 billion and followed that up with $30 billion in 2007. In February 2011, the Obama administration vetoed a UN resolution declaring the Israeli settlements in the occupied West Bank illegal.
And Jerusalem will remain the capital of Israel, and it must remain undivided.
At the end of 2016, the US granted its largest military aid package to Israel, promising Tel Aviv $38 billion by 2028.
What it does is provide an assurance and a foundation for the kinds of ongoing military and intelligence cooperation.
Israel has no greater friend than the United States of America, and America has no greater friend than Israel.
Donald Trump has not lagged behind his predecessor in his support for Israel, and in 2017, he announced that the US recognized Jerusalem as the capital of Israel.
I recognized Jerusalem as the capital of Israel.
In 2020, Trump unveiled what he called the deal of the century with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu. This deal stipulated that Jerusalem would become the undivided capital of Israel, and Palestinians would have to fulfill numerous conditions over the course of 4 years.
It's a great plan for Israel.
When the International Criminal Court announced in 2021 that it was investigating Israel for war crimes, the US, under Biden's presidency, banned the court's prosecutors from entering the US.
We firmly oppose and are disappointed by the ICC prosecutors' announcement of an investigation into the Palestinian situation.
After Israel launched its offensive on Gaza on October 7, the US made its stance very clear, and it was not a surprising position.
The United States stands with you. We will continue to have Israel's back.
And Washington continues to provide Israel with large amounts of heavy weapons since October 7. On the other hand, the Israel Lobby and US Foreign Policy book by Professor John Mearsheimer and Professor Stephen Walt describes the lobby as a loose coalition of individuals and organizations who actively work to steer US foreign policy in a pro-Israel direction. This unconditional support given to Israel by the United States since its inception is now viewed as irrational and is largely criticized because of the burden and disadvantage it causes for the US foreign policy.
Our commitment to Israel's security is ironclad. Let me say it again, ironclad.